Pastor Jake Cox here?
Pastor Phil is.
Pastor Phil.
Brother Phil.
Can I see your credentials?
Sure. So let's bow our heads in prayer, please. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day and the sunshine that you provided for us today. Thank you for this board and for their commitment to serve the Bedford community. We also thank you for this wonderful community that you've provided for us to live in. I would pray tonight that you would guide and direct the board, provide them wisdom as they work through the decisions that they're called upon to make on behalf of the citizens of Bedford Township. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Approval of the agenda. I will need to add and put it under. Is it under? Thank you. I need to add to 7A. We had a little miscommunication in regards to our board of review in terms of getting them in within the 10-day period. So we just need to reappoint. So I will make a motion that, and this will be one motion, that we appoint Benjamin Amos, Josh Walter, Tiffany Cornett. The alternatives will be Rhonda Klowan and Joseph Kramer. All terms will expire 1/1/2027 at noon. Any discussion? Can I get a vote? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Can I get a vote?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment to 7A.
Joe Gore?
Support.
Any discussion? Can you take a vote?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Ms. Schreier votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Next we have consent agenda. Agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file minutes from the December 17th, 2024 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have discussion?
Support.
Oh, man, I'm getting a little confused. Okay, can we take a vote?
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Schreier votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Okay, the next will be public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only. Please state which agenda item you will be speaking on. Okay, we will be moving on.
Nice.
Okay. Underneath 7A is the appointment of the Board of Review. Folks, let me get that. Yeah, there we go. Must be the cold meds. Need to appoint Benjamin Amos, Josh Walter, Tiffany Cornett. The alternates will be Ronald Klowan, Joseph Kramer. All terms expiring 1/1/27 at 12 noon.
Is that the motion?
Yeah.
I was going to say, can we do it all in one
Yeah.
motion?
That's motion. Do I have support?
Support.
Can I get a vote?
Mr. Pryor?
Yes.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Schreier votes aye.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Trudy, we need to contact these people ASAP to get them to take the oath of office because I think there's a pretty finite deadline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of them tomorrow.
Okay.
So, under 8, new business, vouchers for payment.
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $25,104.75. Fire District, $10,057.61. Fire Equipment, $20,842.39. Downtown Development, $12,805.35. Library Operating, $10,082.70. American Rescue, $141,269.40. Building Department, $315.80. Sewer O&M, $179.47. Trust and Agency Fund, $4,822, for a grand total of $225,479.47.
Support.
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Real quick, Mr. Pryor. I just received a message from a citizen that said this is not coming in over the TV. Is the cable down, or do they got to go on YouTube, George?
YouTube, there's an issue with cable on Buckeye's side.
Cable's out? Okay, so cable will be out. Okay. So if you're out there, you'll have to go to YouTube for live stream because cable's out until tomorrow, audio only.
What if they were watching on cable, then they didn't hear your message?
Well, he said audio's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Underneath 8B, approve a contract with Advanced Plumbing. Mr. Jacob, if you could come up. The reason why I have Jim here is to explain this whole thing. We're not engineers and we're not architects when it comes to lines and oil interceptors and grease traps and why they did what they did some years ago and how this all transpired. So the floor is yours, Jim.
Sure. Good evening, Chair and trustees. As you have before you this evening, we have a independent topic from the construction. This is related to the existing sheriff's garage. There is a structure on the side of that that is in deteriorated state that is for the grease and oil interceptor for the existing trench drain that's within that building. And then there's a toilet within that structure too that also has been discovered to have plumbing problems related to it. There's a break in the line that goes out to the road underneath the driveway, approximately 40-ish feet from the point where the camera was inserted into the line from South County Water to investigate some alternatives that we were looking at for value engineering a plumbing connection for the structure, which is the beginnings of where some of that was discovered, that there's existing problems within that building. Consequently, no change is being proposed to value engineer that work, but it also provides the opportunity for a fix for this work. So what we are kind of put a sketch together on the township's behalf to seek some quotation for what it might be to fix it, because there were two alternatives to this concern. One is we get quotes and do a proper repair to maintain those facilities in their use. The other is to abandon the use of the facility, the use of the plumbing within the facility, and do proper measures to abandon that. There was talk about that, and the decision was made to obtain the quotes and see what the cost would be for that, and that's what's being presented to you this evening, because it was felt that with that cost, if my understanding is correct, and Judy and Al can correct me if this is incorrect in its thinking, but there's two entities that utilize the plumbing within that facility. One being the Sheriff's Department to maintain your vehicles that are out on the road. They use that to clean them and do other repairs, but mainly the plumbing would be related to the washing of those vehicles and maintaining them. And then during that time, the staff uses the toilet facility that's in there. The second is that during training events for the fire building in the back, that's a facility that the firefighters can use while they're in turnout gear and dealing with their training aspects without bringing that mess into this structure or into the new structure. So it was felt that maintaining the plumbing use there was an important factor. So what we got the quote from Advanced, we had two numbers turned in, Advanced being the low bid in that scenario, and Complete in its scope of work. And they are a proven vendor for the township as well. So with that, they will be replacing, abandoning, and removing the existing grease and oil interceptor on the gravel drive side of the storage building, so the northern side of that building, relocating it to behind it out of the traffic area, and putting in a today's standard grease and oil interceptor, rerouting the outlet from the exit of the building in that location around to that new interceptor, and then taking its outlet over to the pump station for the new work at the across the driveway at the new building. And then the same thing would occur with the plumbing coming out of the toilet room. It would be rerouted to the pump station for the new structure as well. So they would both be tying into that new sanitary structure that is for the new facility. Their work includes the coring of that basin when it's installed, and all of the work to put all of that in and do all the removal of the existing grease and oil interceptor. What it does not include, and nobody has this cost covered yet, is the asphalt repair for the cut across the driveway. So that work has not been covered by the current construction work or the contractor proposing the repair on this. They will be filling it gravel up to the surface for whoever can repair that in the future. So that is kind of the overview of the process that kind of led to bringing this to the forefront for your consideration for repair. My understanding is that the quote on this is good through the 15th. After that, it would have to be reevaluated for any adjustments in current labor or material rates, if you would choose to do it after that time period. I think there was a question about whether we should do, the township should consider doing any kind of testing related to that catch basin. That's probably not a bad idea if you want to go through that expense. Right now, we don't have a concern over it. Once they expose it, if there was some leaching or some contamination of the soil that was evident when the structure's removed, we might suggest it at that time. But at the present, trying to do any pre-testing, that has not been a consideration to date.
Question, Krista and Todd?
So, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is, as it stands today, that the hole, I'm going to call it,
Yep.
is it's not safe to even drive over, correct?
That is correct. There's a
Okay.
steel plate that's been on it for several years.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, so that way, because with the cop cars driving back there and other vehicles, just so that way,
Yeah,
we'll know
it's
that
in a similar
safe.
state as to the catch basins within the parking areas too. There are several structures here that are failing outside of.
Todd, you had a question?
Yeah, Jim, on this quote here, it says, this quotation does not include permits, bonds, testing, layout, fees of any kind, no landscaping, dewatering, or removal of contaminated soils, no new curb, asphalt, or sidewalk. Do you foresee any of those items needed besides the contaminated soil, which you just talked about?
The bond would be a township board requirement. If you want that for this, then there would be cost involved in obtaining that bond. We would not normally recommend it on a contract like this. That's under a value. I mean, Mr. Goldsmith might be wanting to weigh in on that, but I would not anticipate it for this. This would be paid once the work is completed, in most likelihood. Permits, I do not know whether that was asked to be waived prior to this or not, so permits could be an added cost.
Okay.
we can check on that and verify that.
And and then the other thing, that's for the other bid that probably less likely that we'd be looking at diversified, but asphalt is one that is going to be needed, but that's already addressed.
Asphalt and the contaminated soils he touched on, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
That he doesn't foresee any of these other things being needed.
No, there's no sidewalks there.
So the bids are about $10,000 apart between diversified and advanced. And my question is, number one, is did advanced underbid it and it's going to come back to us? What's that?
So the one, the 10,000 is the 14,300. That's just to reroute it. That's not to, the 29,400 is to replace it.
And to reroute it.
Yeah.
And they're rerouting it for 24.8. So if they replace it and reroute it for diversified, it's like 33.7, correct?
Yeah, those two together.
It's two together. Okay.
43.
43, yeah.
That's what I was saying. Is it
Yeah,
more
so
than
it's
that?
More than that. So did diversified overbid it so they didn't get the job, or did advance underbid it?
In talking to Advanced to vet theirs, I believe that they, in our experience with them, is pretty vast. So they have always stood behind their bid. I believe that theirs is all inclusive. I can't speak to whether somebody overbid or underbid their work. What I can say is that I had a conversation even again today with Mr. Leroy regarding his bid, and he was comfortable with his number, and our experience would show that he's got the cost in it that it would take to get the job done.
And I just got one more real quick. And I'll pick up Rick's old adage, is there any warranty that comes with it? You know, like if it fails in a year or anything like that, or?
We could get that clarification from Advance, but normally there would be an expectation of at least a year for labor and material installation type work. I do not believe that they've outlined that in either of these numbers, but normally that's the expectation. As far as the tank itself or any of the components of it, those would be material warranties. Those are fairly limited for this type of work, but whatever they would provide would be what's included.
Jim, could you get, if the board selects this bid, could you get that language added in so that we know we've got a warranty for a definite period of time for labor materials and what we can expect if there's a failure?
Yes. Yeah, so if you make that a contingency on it, we can get that, and then the staff can check that to make sure that it's compliant with what your contingency requirements are.
Jim, if we didn't have, if Advanced wasn't so much less than the diversified bid, which it's obviously way less, but still, it's a lot of money. Is there, what specifically, I mean, even with it being way less, it's still an expensive project for a plumbing. Where is that expense? What's the real expensive piece to, is it just that they're digging up, or I don't?
Well, it's the grease and oil interceptor structure for that, and then the labor to reroute it around the building. But that specifically, the grease and oil interceptor itself is
an expensive unit in and of itself. Okay.
Question for one of you three, maybe for Bob, but he's not here. The money, where is it coming from, budgeted in?
Yeah, we pulled that today, and Bob has that set aside in the capital improvement plan. So we do have the money. He's actually set aside like $35,000. So we've got that covered.
Isn't that a nice thing to have?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Isn't that a beautiful thing to have?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But
Imagine that.
So that we do have covered. But I have two things in terms of this. One, Advanced Plumbing has done work for the township, and I found them to be very cost effective, especially in the library. And just to give you an example of that, we had a toilet fixed over there, and I was quoted $2,400. They came in, they did the whole job, and it was like $800. I had something done up front. Guy quoted me like $1,200. They came in and did it like half.
Well, that's.
And they're very conscientious. You know, we can call them up. if there is a problem. So we do have experience with them in terms of doing this. So, and then my question, Jim, the other thing is, what if we did nothing?
If we did nothing, you would still have to abandon it properly. So there would still be cost. I would guess that number, and it's a guess, would be somewhere closer to the $5,000 or $6,000 range to remove that, abandon it, plug it, and cap off the plumbing that's there. At its present state, it's non-functioning. At least the toilet facility portion of it is. The drain that's used for the trench drain is functioning. It's not tied into any sanitary that we can find. So there's a concern that it's, in today's standards, would need to be tied in, which is the suggested rerouting to tie it into a sanitary. Technically, we would suggest that you stop washing vehicles in there, remove the plumbing, and cap it all off, would be our recommendation.
So it would just be a garage, that's it, nothing else.
And then you'd have to find an alternative measure to wash the vehicles.
It's connected to the new project, but it's really not. But while you're here, subcontractor oversight, I talked to Trudy a little bit and talked to you before the meeting. If you could explain how that works when it comes to all the subcontractors and the oversight that the township has and the safeguards that we have regarding to the subcontractors.
Sure, and I'll try to give a kind of a high-level overview of that, and if you need more detailed explanation, just interject it. But essentially, you are under contract with the general contractor, Key Construction. It's their responsibility to administer the contracts with all of their subs. So our route to the subs is through the general contractor. We have regular progress meetings, which involves township staff as well, where we are discussing progress, schedule, any open concerns, RFIs, or those types of things that would be part of the construction process. That's an opportunity to discover or address any ongoing concerns through the general contractor about the quality of work or the progress that is or isn't being made with any of the trades. As far as the pay application process goes, to ensure that they're being properly paid, part of that review process and their submittal for payment process is to submit a sworn statement that shows the contract amount and what they've been paid to date, and that has to match up with the waivers that we obtain from them that have to have the contractor's signature as well as the subcontractor's signatures on them. They're partial during the process, and we have a full unconditional that's required at the close. That's an extra measure in the instance of a township or municipality, because in this instance we have a full 100% performance and payment bond requirement too. That overrides even the waiver process to ensure that it's insurance that says you're paying those subs, and if you don't, your bond's called, and that's what's going to pay it in the event that they don't pay. At least that's my understanding. We may have a different, more legal language for that, but that's the reason that you require the bond. So monthly, when we receive those pay applications, it's my job to come out here, double check to make sure that the percentage of completion and the scope of work that they're asking to be paid for is complete. And that any of the pay application waivers that might be required from the previous pay application are in place with the next pay application. And before I certify it, if they don't add up, then we don't send it on to the township till everything matches. It is a township or owner responsibility to verify the authenticity of those waivers. And like I say, in this instance, because of the bond, that's not as important as it is in a situation where a private residence might be checking waivers or commercial construction may be without a bond in place.
I'm good, thank you.
Yep.
My wheels are just turning, so I'm, is the reason that it's crumbling, does that have anything to do with it being in the driveway?
Yes, it may not have had the right structure cover on it from its past that could withstand the traffic going over it.
How many, is that 20 years then? Is that like 20 years old?
At
Less than
least
that?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more?
More than that.
More than that.
Does it make any sense, I'm trying to like visualize out there, does it make any sense having it on the south side and then running to connect anywhere else for longevity purposes so that you're not coming back against this again down the road, because you're going to have increased traffic down that driveway now? Yeah. Because with the maintenance building, it's on the north side, right?
Yeah, as it sits now, this is the right orientation, so that's where it sits at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're relocating that tank over here in the grass area.
Okay.
And then tying it into the new pump station over here.
Okay, so it is being relocated then. Okay.
For that specific reason.
Okay.
Craig, I did some research with Pat, who's been here like 21 years, and it was suggested at that time that not go there.
Okay.
It was put there.
Okay.
So, the problem is we do things years back, and then it'll catch up to you.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. All right, is this gonna,
Right.
if you're keeping it there,
We don't want
we're
that to happen.
we're only going to be increasing the traffic going through there? Right. Is it going to be okay? Okay, that's very good to hear.
Any other questions?
One other comment, just to give you an update. Right now, it's been rather quiet on the site, just because we were waiting. The next step is the delivery of the pre-engineered building. That is scheduled for January 21st. Starting at 9 a.m., there will be trucks bringing the building into the site. At that point, you should start seeing more activity back on site with things moving at a little faster pace. Again, they are on schedule at the moment from what they've provided us as a master schedule. Slightly ahead, perhaps, but I'm not going to get too hung up on them being ahead at the moment, because things will happen during that process that could put it right back to original schedule. So at the moment, things are going well, and we'll continue to monitor it and try to keep it in that position.
Do you have any other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the contract with Advanced Plumbing?
I'll go ahead and make that motion that we approve the contract for Advanced Plumbing for $24,800 to repair the crumbling grease and oil separator on the north side of the sheriff's garage. The funds to come out of the capital improvement fund.
Support.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, with
would you be so kind to add in the
yes.
requirement that the warranty language be
We'd like-
included with Jim's assistance?
yes, we'd like that included warranty language.
That was Todd. Second. Do we have discussion? Can I get a vote?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Ms. River votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, next we're moving on to 8C. Approved placing a mowing trailer out for bid. This trailer has been fixed numerous times. It's been welded on. I talked to Pat. He said on this particular one, we probably should start it out at maybe a couple $100 and see what we get. So we don't use it anymore, and so that's where we're at. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we put the mowing trailer up for bid and make sure we list it as is.
Correct.
Support.
You want to put a
Oh,
minimum
yeah. We
$200
could,
bucks?
starting bid minimum $200.
Yeah, let's do that.
And I'll put it out there as is without warranty.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go.
Do I have a second?
And we have,
It was Todd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Can you take the roll?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. 8D.
Does that trailer, is it registered? Does it have a registration plate? Make sure the registration plate is removed before it leaves this property.
Yeah.
And if it's a manufactured trailer and we have a title, make sure we properly sign off. Keep a copy of that in case there's an accident or a mishap after it leaves to show that it's been transferred, the title has been signed off on, and we retain the plate.
Thank you, Phil. Next that we have is, this one's a little tougher, 8D. Oh, yeah.
Did we?
No,
Oh, we did?
No.
I thought we did.
didn't
Call the roll.
call the roll.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
We did.
I think we did.
Yeah, you said yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you being with me.
All right.
Glad you're checking.
Waiting.
Alzheimer's.
Pretty much.
Okay, on to 8D. Approve placing a Ford F-350 out for bid. Same situation. This one's a little different because it's a 1995. It does have low miles. We have maintained this truck, but it's to the point we don't use it, we don't need it. And trying to blue book this thing, and again, I talked to Pat and so on, I looked online, trying to find one is extremely hard. And I tried to do like a 200-mile radius. I found one on gov.com. That one was like $8,000, but it had a brand new engine in it with like 1,000 miles on it. So I know darn well, I know what this truck costs to fix because we've done it. So they probably had maybe $5,000 into that engine or whatever, at least. Then the next thing I found was like a 2005 which was a Ford F-350, but you know that was a lot newer. So, but this truck does have value. There's going to be somebody that will either buy this truck for parts, or you'll get the guy that can keep fixing it himself and the hydraulics and everything else. In talking to Pat, he said we should put a reserve on here anywhere between $2,500 and $3,500 and see what we get. If we don't get anything, we'll just put it out there again. It's not like, you know, we have to sell this tomorrow, but it does have value, and it has been well maintained. So, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we put the Ford F-350 out for bid. It's no longer being used by the maintenance department, and we'll set the starting bid at $3,500.
Support.
Craig supported.
I'd like to make sure that
Discussion.
as is, no warranty. And remove the plate and title.
Just like what Phil said. Okay. Can you call the roll, Ms. Hirschberger?
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Next we have the appointment of Helen Plewa to the Library Advisory Board. Helen is currently serving on the board. She's done a great job. She's very dedicated to the library. Her term would be ending 12/31/27. She is currently on the board. She was fulfilling a term for another person that had resigned. Can I get a motion to appoint Helen Plewa to the Library Advisory Board?
I'll make a motion to appoint Helen Plewa to the Library Advisory Board. It's her first full term, ending 12/31 of 2027.
Do I have a second?
Support. Oh,
Support?
Rudy.
Okay. Discussion? Seeing none, can you take the roll?
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is 8E, approve appointment to the Compensation Committee. This is one of our extremely important committees. So I'm looking to appoint Lamar Frederick to the Compensation Committee. Lamar has served on other boards. He has quite a bit of experience in terms of boards. His term will be ending 12/31 of 29. Do I have a motion to appoint?
Are we sure Mr. Frederick's been properly vetted?
Oh, no, you might want to do that.
Does anybody know this guy?
Oh.
I'll make a motion to appoint Lamar Frederick to the Compensation Committee.
I'll second.
His term ending December 31st,
thought you were done.
2029.
Sorry.
Wow, you're
all right.
batting 1,000 tonight.
I know, yeah.
I know, it's been a
Joe,
long December.
Can I get a vote, Ms. Hirschberger?
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to see his reaction. Yes.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries.
Gotta be a good person.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Tough crowd tonight, Lamar.
Okay. Make sure you buy him lunch, Trudy.
Josh needs to.
Yeah, I think Josh needs to buy him lunch, too. Okay. The next, we're taking a look at 8G, approve appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm looking to appoint Sherry McCormick to the Board of Zoning Appeals. She has not served on any boards. Ms. McCormick, she is a Michigan State grad. She's an accountant. She's a local business owner, longtime resident. I think she would make a very good addition to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I am looking for a motion to appoint.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Sherry McCormick to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a first term ending 12/31/27.
Support.
Krista supports. Can you take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger?
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries.
And this is for Todd's benefit. She's a Michigan State graduate. Go green.
Better luck next year.
There we go. Okay, we've got, next coming up is 8H, approve appointments to the Downtown Development Authority. The first one is to appoint Philip Verzel to the Downtown Development Authority, his term ending 12/31/28. Mr. Verzel is currently on the board. He's done a very good job. He lives over in Quail Hollow. Looking for a motion to appoint.
I'll make a motion to appoint Philip Verzale to Downtown Development Authority. Term ending December 31st, 2028. Is this going to be his first full term?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Trudy seconds. You take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Quick discussion.
Discussion, I'm sorry.
Does Mr. Verzal, does he own a business down there? How's he?
He lives in
Just
Quail
lives,
Hollow.
I know he lives in
Yeah.
Quail Hollow in that area.
Yeah, so if you're a resident, you can qualify
For
to
the
be on the
DDA.
DDA.
Okay.
Quick question. How many residents can you have on there versus how many have to be business owners? I know there's a policy that we have that you can only have so many residents, right?
Right. I think it's got to be 80 or 85% have to be business owners. The rest can be residents, and then you can have one non-resident, non-DDA member.
And just for clarification, everyone that really applied on all these committees, just for the public, they were the only applicants that we had, for the most part, I think, right?
Yes.
So people want to get involved, apply, reach out. But as of now, tonight, these were the people that applied. There were no other applicants. So just for full transparency, these were the only people that applied.
A little bit harder one on that one, Josh, is that they have to be in the Downtown Development Authority, except for the one at large. So,
And I think moving forward, we're going to be looking for a little bit more transparency out of the DDA. That's for sure.
okay. We had a second, didn't we? Okay, can you take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger? Any further discussion? Okay.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Oh, the next appointment to the DDA is Gabe Coleman. Gabe currently serving on the board. He owns the veterinary clinic right there on Stearns Road, one that's brand new right by Hampton Manor there. So his term would be ending 12/31/28. He's in good standing, attends the meetings, does a good job. Looking for a motion to appoint.
I'll make a motion to appoint Gabe Coleman to his second term ending December 31st, 2028 to the Downtown Development Authority.
We have second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Last appointment for the DDA is Lucas Diver. Lucas is currently the chair. He's currently serving. Again, he's been doing a really good job as the chair. He also works for I Insurance in the DDA, so he's been extremely involved. His term would be ending 12/31/28. Looking for a motion to appoint.
I'll make the motion to appoint Lucas Diver to the Downtown Development Authority, his second term, which would end December 31st, 2028.
Support.
That was Todd. Further discussion? Can you take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger?
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Last is number 9, comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes for each individual.
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. Just a couple questions. I have concerns over the memos. There's never a signature on these, and if you recall at one of our meetings, Mr. Peroni announced that he had no knowledge of such a memo, that Mr. Pryor had just used his name and put the memo out without his knowledge. I consider these legal documents, and I believe there should be some sort of a signature or something that says to the public, yes, our supervisor wrote it or has knowledge that it was done, or whoever writes them. Secondly, I'm wondering if Mr. Jacobs could give us a list of the subcontractors that are being used on this maintenance building. And I see this as an additional expense to the project itself. So I'm wondering, has there been any other incidents or occurrences that have caused the price on this project to go above what was quoted at the very beginning? And if there was, if we could find out what that stuff is. The other thing is, have we made township liaison assignments yet? Or did I miss that at the last meeting? And as far as the DDA, is that under the DDA, the requirements under the DDA as it stood when it first started? Or is this under the new requirements? Are there new requirements for the new name or the new label that group supposedly has from the state? My understanding is the laws have changed or something through there, or the title has changed. So that's all. I thank you kindly. Good meeting, guys.
Comer Pete Carey, 1024 Borg Avenue. I've got, when I ran and got a few votes, as most of you know, I had a lot of questions from people about just a numerous amount of things, and I'm still getting them in my email. So I'm going to try to always come and give you a positive note about what's going on and questions about what's happening. This one is about Mulch King. And somebody in the group out there remembers that they used to be able to take their yard waste to Mulch King for free. And then we had a controversy. No big deal. It just happened. And that process seems to have stopped. And I think in order for us to maybe have less burning in the area and all that, I know that, and I might be wrong about the numbers, but I think it was $300 to $400 the board was paying when they first came in order that all of us in the township could get the free drop off of our leaves and sticks and all of those things. And I'd love to have you go over there and talk to those people and see if something could be worked out again, that just Bedford citizens can do that, because it would help stop some of the burning that we're doing. So that's one of mine, but also one that was written to me a couple times. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Moving on to board comments. Josh?
Just a few things regarding the DDA. Spoke with Trudy. I would like those meetings to be recorded. That can come from their board, their monies, if they vote on it. So I would ask them to bring that up at the next meeting, that they start paying somebody to come record those meetings, put them on our YouTube channel so everybody can see full transparency. I always think that's the way to go. Regarding a township ordinance on pets, it was brought to my attention that we have an ordinance that only allows 3 pets in a household. I would really like to take a look at that. I think 3 is a very low number. I think it's kind of an outrageous number. Should there be a cap on it at some point? Yes, I would like to have a conversation with the board. Apparently there was a family that had to get rid of one of their dogs. They had 4 dogs, one too many apparently in Bedford Township. A lot of people probably don't even know about it. I would like to start a conversation on making that a more realistic number. So that's where I'm at.
Mr. Bruni?
No, nothing to add. Everybody have a good night, good weekend.
Mr. Gore?
Nothing for me. Just everybody, Happy New Year, and we'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Mr. Montry?
Nothing from me.
Ms. Shannon?
Everybody have a wonderful night, wonderful weekend, and go Lions.
Ms. Hirschberger?
Welcome, George.
All I have is the Township Hall will be closed on Monday, January 20th to observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Okay, just a couple things. Josh, I don't disagree with you. I think it would be a good idea if we did broadcast the DDA meetings. Okay. You know, I tell everybody too, the public's welcome, you know, as its trustees to go over their projects and so on. So I don't think that's a bad idea at all. The other thing you talk about the dogs, okay? There can be problems, especially when we go to a house and there's 15 dogs, and it smells and it's bad and so on. But I know probably a lot of us are in violation of the dog ordinance, because if you put 2 Chihuahuas together, that's almost 1 dog. So, you know, so you get people that might have 4 or 5 dogs.
Well, it's my understanding that it's not even just dogs. It can be 2 dogs, 2 cats.
Yeah.
It could be a lizard. It could be a rabbit. It could be a fish.
Exactly. So it's probably something that we should probably look at, but it can be difficult for some people in terms, because we have run into some horde situations and they're pretty nasty in terms of that. So the other thing that we have, there's a seminar being put on this Thursday from 6 to 7:30 at the Bedford Township Library from Consumers Energy. They're going to be discussing solar. They're going to be discussing the reliability of the grid. So if you're a business owner or whatever, you might want to check into that. They will be serving free food and refreshments. So their government rep will be there. So if anybody has questions or whatever, please show up. So other than that, I'm a Lions fan. I've been waiting since 1957 for this moment to happen. So let's go Lions. Other than that, meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.